September the 13th, Sunday, Canterbury, in the loft again, and hasn't the summer gone quickly? Here is Sarah Rachel Adams, blog 8.
It's already blog 8. Hello everyone, and of course I want to wish you, Robert, a happy birthday. Okay, so today I'm going to try not to get lost. I'm getting better at this because it's blog 8. So I'm more relaxed and not so camera shy, I guess. That's what you would call it. Today I want to talk about the fall of the cosmic man and the cosmic virus. And this is tied into all of my experiences with what you would call the symbiotic black goo, and what many high magicians in Hollywood that actually have status as either celebrities or stuff like that they speak about. There is a lot of evidence of what I'm about to present if you really dig deeply. And it also does provide a lot of answers for a lot of things going on. So that's the first subject I'm going to speak about. And then I will go ahead and do a question and answer. And I said I would do up to 10 or 15 questions because last time we didn't, there was way too many to really get all of them done. Some years back, I did an interview on the Basis series for Miles Johnson about some of the experiences I had as a child and growing up with a symbiotic sort of virus or blackish substance. And interestingly enough, when I see people sick or stuff like that, they're often covered with that, or they have links in them that look like that. I know that a lot of people have been doing their own research on this, and I do know a lot of people have taken things out of context, as with everything that always happens, and a lot of people have taken my work, and some people have sort of gone off base with the work that I'm doing, and they propose other ideas that doesn't align to what I believe in, what I'm getting. The reason that I chose this subject is because of the fact that so many people are taking my work and then they're saying that I'm like dark or evil or taken over or this or that. So I think it's ridiculous to take somebody's work and their experiences and then base your work off of it and then essentially come to stupid conclusions. Sorry about that, but that's what I think. I think they're stupid conclusions. From what I understand, with all the research I've done and from the memories I have, I do a lot of work where I pull up memories. I believe a lot of memories are within our cells and within the water within us, and we can access them by clearing ourselves, detoxing ourselves, stabling ourselves out emotionally, mentally, and physically. Whatever this presence consciousnesses, I've interacted with it since a child, and I've seen in third world countries through observation how it's wreaked havoc of literally just sucking the soul energy. And I believe that a lot of disasters around the world tie into this, and that they're set up so that literally energy en masse can be absorbed and eaten, soul energy. And this is a huge problem we have. I believe that diseases are also set up for this. I believe that many diseases stem from this. This ties back all the way to what I stated, the cosmic man. And I'm going to speak about this in such a way, hopefully, that everybody understands, because I know sometimes it's hard for me to get things across. I would say the cosmic man would be what you would call the first angels or first deities, the first beings that manifested. That's what I would say they are. They go by many names. Many different cultures have named them many different things, but they're all the same thing. And if you research it, you start to realize it. You start to realize that these deities, these angels, and literally they're all the gods, they're all the same thing in the end. And you can put all the pieces of the puzzle together, I have a remembrance of this, that yes, there were life on the other planets, and there was a great war that broke out, and these beings warred very viciously, and in that war they lost their divinity. They fell, and I do have quite a memory of that. That's since a child, and it's very, very, very this memory seems to be very, very charged because it's almost emotional. It's almost like I can break into tears from this memory. But I just remember seeing blackness engulf the planets when this happened, and it was what I call the fall of the cosmic men, the what you would call deities back then. I believe that the first beings that manifested, when they manifested, they were like supermen. They were cosmic beings. They were like the high angelics everybody speaks about. They had different powers, different abilities. They were fully awake. They could walk dimensions and everything like that. I believe that manifesting into physical, they started creating different stuff. And eventually, like a bit like lost children, eventually they did get into wars and stuff like that. And they didn't realize just how bad and how harsh this would affect their literal physical and their literal souls. I was shown that the Mars wars were some of the most severe nuclear wars that were ever seen, and that it tied into these cosmic beings. I believe that they had seeded different worlds. They were maybe even like the movie Prometheus, where it shows how they had seeded different worlds. When they fell, they because of the wars, it messed them up genetically, and it messed them up on an energetic level. So then they no longer were self-sustainable. They no longer were tied to the river of life. They no longer were powerful and able to walk the realms like they used to. They then would have to, I believe, went to their creation and started to steal energy from them, and started to steal life force to sustain themselves, to sustain their souls, because I believe that the whole energetic vampire thing is connected to this deeply. And I believe that this has continued on for quite a while now. And because they had messed themselves so badly up, there were they sort of were locked off from the higher realms. So by stealing energy, they can briefly experience also emotions, higher emotions like bliss and happiness and love that they can't experience because of the energetic fall that they've had. So I believe that humanity has been used as cattle for this, literally to energetically sustain these beings. I called them the fallen ones. I believe that the Vatican knows a lot about this. I believe that the Vatican is in cahoots with them, and it keeps a lot of the information and everything secretive. A lot of the information I believe that the Vatican keeps secretive is to keep humanity, again, as cattle. I believe that all world religions tied together are this. That there's a lot of truth in it, because essentially they had to put truth in it, but it's essentially to keep everybody as cattle around the world. I think now people are starting to realize this. It's as if they went from very sensitive beings that were highly empathic and could feel everything, to being beings that were somewhat what you would say robotic, where to feel they have to absorb the soul energy of others, otherwise they're like robots. Because they had fallen so far from what I call the divine life stream, or the God mind itself. They had fallen to very low levels away from that. I do believe, from all the information that I got, that these very small group, and I guess you could call them also the first, they call them Anu, Enki, and Lao. These are just some of the names for them. I think that definitely we're coming in a time now where we are going to no longer be cattle for these beings, and everything is going to eventually ascend. And I have to explain it in such a way so everybody understands it. Not only are they vamping people literally through set up disasters and stuff, they're also going into dreamland, yes, into astral, and into the different levels of realms. They're not allowed to go to the higher realms, but they're going into these things. They're vamping off of people at night in their sleep or when they sleep. So these people stay down in energy. And somebody who stays down in energy is a person who will always stay asleep. They will stay perfect in society. They will go to work. They will never wake up. The more energy a person has within them, the more that they're illuminated. So they're also making sure that nobody passes by taking energy from them. And I believe that the few that pass, they see them, which are, I call the awakened. Many people in the awakened group now are being able to access this information. I think that they see them as a huge threat, and I think that that's why so many people are gang stalked for simple information that they're finding out. But by doing this, by constantly taking the energy, people only have enough energy essentially to go to work and do everyday lives. They don't have the energy that they would be having every day usually if they weren't vamped, so that it would literally light up their bodies. Their DNA would light up more. The parts of their brain that are closed off would light up more if they had more energy. That's the trick of this. The body is running on a certain amount of energy, and it's also closed off because of that. So essentially, when man is illuminated or ascends, he will fully have his energy body restored to him. He will no longer be in pieces. This all ties into the symbiotic black goo virus. So, excuse me. Okay, so I believe that this virus comes from them. Yes, I believe when the wars happened, that it transformed them. It mutated them. It mutated them from the divine beings that they used to be to these falling beings. And I believe that the virus is something that came from this. Now, what we need to realize is that movies are really everything around us is a mirror of what's happening. And people want to say that, oh, fiction movies, this or this, are ridiculous. And I do not watch TV, but I rarely sometimes pick out movies that I think I need to see because they verify stuff. I believe that a lot of the stuff left behind by these wars, the different governments have essentially invaded, and they have taken DNA, they have taken all sorts of stuff so that they could use in their own projects. I'm still trying to explain this in such a way that it is understandable. If you research the interesting thing is if you research the Bible, it wasn't a snake that in the Garden of Eden. It was a worm. Now, whenever we look up worms, you can tie this back to parasites. So if you look up the original translation, it's a parasitic worm. Now, it's very well known that there's a lot of nanotech coming out now, and I've had a dream not long ago how they were essentially like very teeny microscopic worms, nanotech worms, parasites that would go in and build different organs and stuff like that were synthetic. So if you look in the original translation of a Bible, older Bibles, you can see at the bottom where it says that it was a worm, and then you got parasite. And if you really, really research this, you can find that out. So the word serpent was put into the Bible, which is very interesting to throw people off. So to go deeper here, within the symbiotic black substance, I know that it was nanotech. And strangely enough, movies like Prometheus, I think, showed something like this. So I started to go a bit deeper. What if the first beings that were seated on this planet, because you have to remember these cosmic beings went around and they were sent out to create. They were told, literally the higher God consciousness continually creates. It's very creative. It's lovely. So these beings were sent out to create, but they were also infants. So when they manifested, they definitely seeded different planets, different galaxies and stuff like that. They were going around just creating. So the thing is that when they fell, I believe that once they went to their creation, the planets they seeded, once they fell, they needed energy. So they went to the planets they seeded. And I believe that when it talks about the worm, the serpent in the Bible, it really means a parasitic worm. And it means when they mixed with their creation, with one of the planets they had seeded, and this infected humanity with this virus, part of humanity with this virus. I believe that it keeps a lot of the DNA dormant. I believe it also what creates the reptile part of the brain, and we can go deeper into this. Now, I was doing all this research on this, and then it's funny because some years ago, I have a friend, and she's probably gonna see this, so thank you, because it's definitely you who have helped me with so much. I talked to her sister that is a friend of the the movie producer, I think, how do you say that? Guillermo del Toro. Have you ever heard of him? I will just call him Mr. Del Toro. I'm sure that you can just go ahead and Google him and find out who he is. I spoke to one of the ladies who I think was his assistant and who had helped him helps with different stuff in movies, that she does costumes and stuff like that. Well, not long ago, I discovered he did a series called The Strain. And it was, I saw a commercial for it, I think. And it's funny because when I was in the United States, I was doing some reading on some sci-fi stuff, and I winded up seeing that he was going to go ahead and turn a series for it, and I never even looked at it, and I just recently looked at it. He proposes the theory of the fallen vampires in there who have a virus. The virus, of course, is nanotech. They have like small nanotech worms in there, and the fallen have it, and they were the fallen cosmic men. So he's really hit on something, and he is showing that they are feeding off of humanity, and even within their dreams, and also literally, it's insane how that aligns to all of the work that I've been doing, and it's I think it will be coming out more and more and more that this is happening, and we will understand that as we ourselves ascend, we help those who have fallen from the divine God consciousness. And when I say the Christic consciousness, I'm not talking about all of the insanity that the New Age movement has put out there and all of this insanity that's going on right now with that. I'm talking about Christic consciousness, or the God consciousness, the natural flow of everything. I would say that these beings, when they fell, they went against natural flow, or stopped being connected to the natural flow of the universe, thus fallen from it. I did want to read up about the cosmic man in Wikipedia and give a definition of it, because when I went to look up the series The Strain, it was tied to the Wikipedia, the cosmic man, and I thought it was quite lovely how that was put across. I do believe that whoever wrote the books The Strain was definitely streaming in literally this, about this virus, about the fall of the falling and everything else. I have no idea how they were, but they were definitely touching on some of the information that I've streamed out. I think that now it's going to come out more and more and more. I do believe that the Vatican and all of the religious leaders around the world know about these fallen beings. They also know that this energetic virus, and I believe that if we literally had a laboratory and we literally could look into the different cells in the water, we could actually find this virus. I was looking at a guy who was burned for heresy at the stake, like by the Catholic Church, and he had discovered some virus, and it was linked into some sort of nanotech. Why would they burn somebody in that day for discovering some virus that he said energetic vampires have? So what we're seeing now is people literally across the world are severe. I'm running into some severe energetic vampires, and I believe it's all connected to this. I believe that viruses, cancer, notice also in cancer you can make it out and you can have the word Cain. I also believe this virus affected the Cain bloodline. It's funny because in this strain he was using the Cain children, the children of the bloodline of Cain, which is very interesting. I believe that it's affecting a good part of the world now, and it's coming out more and more and more. We're going to realize this. Okay, so I've actually pulled up the Cosmic Man on Wikipedia here. Let's see. I've got to pull up the right one. Let's see, there's two definitions. Okay, so here, I'm going to read this, and it's called the Cosmic Man, and you can look it up on Wikipedia. In Jungian theory, the Cosmic Man is an typical figure that appears in creation myths of a wide variety of mythology and in different religions. Generally, he is described as helpful or positive, and also frequently the physical basis of the world, such that after death, parts of his body became physical parts of the universe. He also represents the oneness of human existence or the universe. For example, in Chinese legend, Panga is thought to have given the natural features of the earth their form, and when he died, his body became the sacred mountains of China. The Persian equivalent Kiamars released when he died, and out came the first human couple. So it's literally this. They're saying in all religions, the Cosmic Man is, or the deities, or the higher angelics, literally, these beings are recorded in all religions across the world. And that they were some of the first creators that manifested. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing that also different parts of the universe were connected to them. I think that somebody told me that the universe, at least the whole Milky Way or system, it looked like somewhat of a man or something. They were saying that some years ago, like parts of the universe look like our galaxy, look like a man, like pieces of man. So initially this is saying something like that. In some Jewish legends, Adam was created from dust from the four corners of the earth, and when he bent down, his head was the east and his feet the west. In another legend, he contained the soul of everybody who would ever be born. In the teachings of the Kabbalah, such a primordial man is referred to as Adam Kadman. In Indian mythology, Purusha is a similar figure who is considered the part of the individual which is immortal. In many myths, the Cosmic Man is not just the beginning, but also the final goal of life or creation. This is not necessarily a physical event, but may refer to the identification of the consciousness and self. In the religious sciences of Islam, a more detailed explanation is furnished, wherein the first Cosmic Man is identified as Adam. According to the sciences, Adam is a cosmic being, because apart from having an all-embracing power over the universe, he also has the most privileged spiritual rank among human beings. In more elaborations, the Cosmic Man is an awaited leader who is destined to appear in order to establish the golden age on earth of all mankind. So is this saying initially, everything is encoded, and from what I understand is that as we awaken, we affect these fallen beings. And we wake them up, and we wake them up to what they used to be, and they've got quite lost. And I think that instead of us wanting to war and wanting to do all of this stuff because we know that we've been taken advantage of, we need to find solutions. And by doing a lot of work on a spiritual level to awaken ourselves, we are affecting everything on a worldwide scale, just like the cosmic man was tied into everything, because we are all tied into each other on a genetic level. So essentially what I wanted to say about the quote black goo virus, or this virus, it descends from these fallen cosmic beings. And I believe we're in a time now where we will see the healing of all of this. We will see it change into a golden age. So that, I think today that's enough about speaking about that, but I really wanted to get that out because I have so many people that are asking me about this. I also do want to say that when they fell, I believe lots of the stories, whether it's Dracula or some of the stories about different monsters or stuff like that, that are quote people back then believed to be real, I believe that it's tied into these fallen beings and these forms they took on when they fell. They can take on different forms, just as when they were not fallen, they could take on different higher form, beautiful forms. I know that they could take on forms of animals or different stuff like that. I think fallen, they take on forms of different looking demons or stuff like that, you might say. Also, it would have been, that would be it exactly. I'm trying to think about the Egyptian gods, how some of them would change into different animals or stuff like that. So when they would fall, they would still have those abilities when they were fallen, but they would change into things that were a bit more horrible. That's what I'm trying to get across. So hopefully that explains that for today. And I'm quite happy doing this vlog. We haven't done one in a while. And I want to go ahead and do a bit of questions, a few of the questions that were sent, and then I think we'll finish it up. Okay, let's see. Let me pull them up. By the way, I heard about the thunder hitting the black cube. That's a very good sign. Not long ago, I was just in the room and I saw a black cube like in the middle of the road right there, just about that big. And some of them I believe are just kind of they're a bit like cameras in a way, or it was moving. It was very strange, but it was moving, but it was floating in the middle of the road. And I was looking across, I was like out the window, I was like, there's a black cube floating out there. And not long after that, somebody just sent me a thing saying that thunder hit the black cube, I think in Mecca or something like that. This is very good news about the black cube, because that's the cube of illusion or cube of mirrors that keeps us locked in this reality. Okay, so let's see. What's the purpose of healing? Well, I've just explained that. So reference to what I just said about healing, it affects everything. And you should really want to heal just for yourself. And healing is also going into a state of well-being, which is very important to be in. And I can't stress that enough. Mr. Phillips said, if you were to create a piece of art, what would the subject be and how would you do it? You know, I used to paint somewhat and I like drawing and things like that. But I would really like to, I think I'd really like to put together just maybe this is the thing, I like to put together maybe a warehouse and have people just come in and each one do small different something on the wall or something like that, or on things, and then in the end just kind of look at that. I think that'd be amazing art, because it would be a mix of everybody expressing themselves together, and I'm quite interested in that sort of stuff. Okay, the crystal skulls. You know, Eva Maya Helly says, Hilly, if that's how you pronounce your name, I would like to have some insight into the crystal skulls and Isaac Tigre's Hard Rock Cafe connections due to the pyramid built in Memphis, which was proven to house a crystal skull in the apex of which Mr. Tigret was said to have manifested for him. Funny enough, talk about Hard Rock Cafe. I know that Elvis was one of the Egyptian deities. Yes. By the way, I just wanted to put this out there. They just found the tomb of the Queen of Sheba. Before that, they found Nefertiti. They found what they think is a doorway to Nefertiti's tomb. And they also found Alexander the Great and his mother. I will tell you, the being was the same. The being that incarnated, she was the Queen of Sheba. She was Nefertiti, and she was Alexander's mother. They incarnate different. These beings incarnate to different lives and bring knowledge. Some of the higher beings. I will definitely have to do an episode just on the crystal skulls alone. I think that would be really interesting, and just on crystal skulls, and maybe pyramids. We could do that, and that would be really, really interesting. Because it's going to take too long to explain right now. I believe that this stuff, the crystal skulls are definitely tied to Atlantis and tied to when humanity starts to wake up. They're there to help aid with that. By the way, okay, very interesting. Mr. Adam Bernard says, seems pretty timely that you might discuss the true agenda behind 9/11, who carried it out, what weapons were really used, and how the ripples of the event continue to impact the world on a spiritual level. I can't imagine a more fitting topic if you are going to do a webcast tomorrow. You know what, it's very, very interesting. I want to go ahead and just explain a bit about this because, first of all, you have the High Priestess card, and you have the two towers. I think they're Boaz and I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's something J and then Boaz. Now, they were used as a portal. Now, very interesting because in this strain, the main fallen one or the beast, he was under the 9/11 towers, and when the main one, what they call the master, what I guess you would call the Antichrist or stuff like that they've named this being. It's one of the fallen, by the way. This is one of the fallen who doesn't want the world to heal, but wants the world to be. It literally wants the world in its grasp. It doesn't want to change. It's scared of change. But interestingly enough, in the series The Strain, the main demonic being was under the World Trade Center. And when he asks him why in the series, he goes, oh, because they always have to cause major destruction so they can open a portal for these beings, these demonic entities to come through. So I believe that government officials were tied into opening a portal so that some sort of being could come through on 9/11 from another dimension. And it's the Twin Towers. It was, like I said, the High Priestess. You have the two towers, and they were using it as a portal. I believe that that's one of the big things with 9/11 is that they were using it for a portal. Well, if you look, though, at pictures, you will see, like, demonic entities or demonic figures in the smoke. Have you ever researched that? Because you should research that. It's literally like they had opened a portal and you could see them coming out, and I literally could see them. I remember I was very young back then, and we were about to take a plane flight to France, and I remember that essentially I felt it. I was asleep, but I felt it. I felt something like hit my chest, and I sat straight up and I felt it, and I said, there's something really, really bad happening, over and over again. And then we lit the TV and there was 9/11 that was happening. Connie says, who do you consider to be the good aliens? Those that are help and guide us, and what methods would you use to be more open to these beings and guides? Okay, so when the first cosmic beings fell, there were the ones who had not manifested into what you call the physical reality. They stayed in the higher realms. So you have those that are interacting, and they want these beings to what you call be redeemed. They want them to reascend. They're doing what they can from the higher realms to try to get them to go ahead and wake back up to become ascended again. The problem is that these beings absorb energy. The beings in the higher realms, they are fully illuminated, and they have massive amounts of energy, so it's a bit dangerous for them to interact with beings who are black holes and trying to constantly eat energy. So you have the good ones helping, and essentially, but they're also careful of not to run into these dark ones who are like black holes, who want to literally absorb them and use them to power themselves. So I would say is that you can interact and you will have aid from the higher beings, essentially, if you're on the right path. But also watch out, and I don't like literally stay away from the whole ascended master thing. That's not too good. Like the whole Sananda and stuff like that. You need to be very, very careful, because also the fallen beings always come in the form of the light ones. So you have to be very, very careful with that. And I'm very, very careful with what I interact with. And I will test it. Always test it. Just be very testing of it. If somebody has been programmed to die, a death program, can it manifest as an illness like cancer? Oh, this is an interesting thing. We can change timelines. I got very sick once, and I remember this is how it happened. I got very sick, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm really sick. I'm like having a really hard time right now. And then something happened, literally, and timeline changed. And then I was better the next day. Can we change timelines to help out with sicknesses? Yes. Are certain timelines, are we targeted? Yes, we are. We're targeted. So yes, we will have people or witches or stuff put hexes on us, but they won't work out. If we follow our inner, they won't work on us. The thing is that you can change the timeline from being sick if you know how to do it. You can jump it and change that. Just our belief is very, very important. And the fact that believing that you are happy and healthy is probably the best thing to do. There are death programs, yes, but what I'm trying to say is we can change them. We have the power of thought. We have the energy to change that. So I wouldn't worry much about it. If you do think that something's been put on you like that, I just would suggest that you do meditation and you tell yourself over and over, I'm happy and healthy. You say, I do not accept it. And repeat 3 times that you do not accept anything like that put on you. Okay, so I'm going to do probably 3 or 4 more questions and then finish this up. Parallel universes. I'm not getting into that right now. It's too long. Okay. Interview with a Vampire. That's interesting. I need to look at that movie. By the way, they're using vampires to mask fallen beings and reptilians, draconians. They're using vampires in films and series to mask that, by the way. Sorry, I don't watch any of Carrie's interviews. I really don't watch any interviews, to be exact, at all. I know this is going to piss people off, but it's true. I don't even watch my own stuff. That's the thing. I just stay away from it. I don't even watch people that are really close to me stuff. They're like, watch this. Like, no, I won't do it. I don't know why. I just won't do it. Tim Webster says, upcoming economic collapse. Is it really coming on this timeline, or did the Bernstein take it with them? Okay, so this is what I want to say. People need to stop pushing for economic collapse, because that's literally saying, come on, let chaos break out. People are not illuminated enough. They're not ascended enough right now. They're still in a state of where if everything crashed, you would have chaos in the streets. This is exactly what the dark ones want, what the fallen ones want, because then they can go ahead and feed massively off of humanity. So we need to stop pushing for that. We need to push for us to be more awake, more open, and slowly emerge, not for full collapse of everything. That's absolutely ridiculous. So I did want to say that. I do know that it was supposed to be this September, but the elementals spoke to me to say that they had changed it and they were trying to hold things together until humanity was awake a little more so they could handle it. It's not something that would be good for the world. I know a lot of awake people think full economic collapse would be amazing. No, people would be murdering each other out there. This is exactly what we don't want. Okay, Trisha says, what is petroleum really? Doesn't it come from a well? I think it comes from a well, doesn't it? Or gas or so. What does it come from exactly? Like a well or gas or something like that. And Star Wars is about the fallen. See, if you note, they do exactly about the fallen. So yeah, it's quite, yes, it is quite interesting how they just throw it in your face of exactly what happened, because Luke and stuff, they all fall. And because the dark is, whereas they were high beings with these abilities, they fall. So it's literally what I was just talking about. And yes, it's quite, on timeline wise, it's in what happened, it is quite literally very close to there. Okay, let's see. I'll talk about the Dracula stuff next time, by the way, and how I discovered a 15-foot coffin. We'll do that next time. It'll be fun to speak about that. Okay, and again, I just, Catherine, thank you about the question about the cube, and I think I just answered that earlier, and I'm just running over this. In terms of Jean Irvin says, in terms of quantum mechanics, what are the energetic processes that occur to bring two or more individual streams of consciousness to a point of intersection? Oh goodness, there's like a gazillion of those, isn't there? Like, it can be stuff from past planets, past lives. It's insanity. There's all sorts of things of how you can literally stream in the different consciousnesses together. Thank you, Nikki, for the good wishes. Okay, I'm finishing one last one. Well, I've got two last ones. I might as well finish the last two. Okay, Heidi says, what suggestions or tips do you have for newly awakened consciousness souls to apply to their lives to help adjust to all the new info that will come into knowledge? A routine of how to detox, eat healthy, meditate, stay in high vibration, anything else? Thank you, and thank you for all the lovely wishes, by the way. Okay, so again, it's about stabilizing your body, eating healthy, meditate, and literally, you know what, go within yourself and do your own research. You have Google, do your own research, go to bookstores, do stuff like that. Don't just follow anybody on the internet. Again, there's a lot of New Age leaders who are set up to literally to be energy get energy for the dark fallen ones. They're set up there just literally to catch everybody who's waking up, because of the fact that the people waking up is literally have higher energy, so that's even more energy for them. So just be very careful. Keep your energy to yourself. Don't be groupies to cult leaders or New Age leaders or stuff like that. Stay well away from that stuff. Don't be fans. Anybody who calls people fans, stay away from them. It's very, very dangerous. Fan is a demeaning term, by the way, and I've seen so many people use it lately, and it's just really, really angered me. I don't think that anybody who's spiritual should have fans. You have friends, you have acquaintances, you don't have fans. You have people who sometimes can get a bit of knowledge from you, but not fans. They're on their own path alone. You're powerful, and you need to empower yourself. So essentially, detox, and don't take it to the brink. Your body needs building blocks, so detox at the same time as you give it good food. I drink lots of herbs and stuff like that, and put really good food in my body, so I have good building blocks. Meditate, clear your energy and stuff like that. I think in some previous videos I have talked a bit about that, and I'll just do one, probably the next one will just be totally about herbs and different stuff like that, and about detoxing. Chibin said, what are your relations to psychoactive substances like the DMT, DMT, or to people that had life-changing experiences with them? Are some of them your friends? So if so, you might have heard lots of interesting stuff from their experience. Do you think substances like that can help some humans evolve faster than without? I'm really skeptical about anything that you haven't put the work into to do. I'm really skeptical about anything that makes you think that you can jump from one level way high up. I think that only the best things in life and only the best experiences come from us putting work into it. If we meditate, if we do all these things, we do save up energy and we get to that. I have some friends who have done DMT. They have had great experiences, some very scary experiences. You can sometimes lose yourself doing it. It's not something that I'm going to say I don't recommend or recommend. I would say do your own research on that. It's not something that I've ever done. I'm not something I'd ever do. I think I do enough work within myself. I would not need that. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is that if you do the work, you won't need substances like this. I do believe for people who are really, really stuck down there, it can be quite helpful because it gives them a jump up. And the last question is Jenny Robertson Miller. She says, do you think we will see significant changes on the 23rd of September, like lots of people have been saying? Okay. What do you think is going to happen, and are there ways that we can prepare for it? Thank you. We'll look forward to watching your video. Thank you. Okay, again, what I just said is changed to spring because apparently the elementals and the different spirits that help hold everything together, they said that they changed it to spring because apparently they said that something hadn't aligned in September how they wanted. So September was the date, and I think I was watching Back to the Future yesterday, I think, where he goes and it's September. I think he goes in September, literally. How insane is that? I was born in 1985, by the way, and he goes from 1985 and he's supposed to go to freaking September, and the thing is he does, and I was like, that's insane. But yes, I did say, I think in past videos that I had saw happen in September, they did find so many things this month. The second Stonehenge, the Queen of Sheba's tomb, Alexander's tomb. So there's so much happening. And then they said spring. They were like, just be patient in spring. And so that's it. So we just have to be patient and take care of our bodies and literally do lots of prayer. And in spring, there's something grand happening. And I did want to thank everybody who watches my video blog. And I think I'm becoming a bit better at it. And thank you again for watching, and thank you for helping me with it.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. That was vlog 8.
Bye.